everybody, welcome to the superhero scene. My name is Joe. Before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers. If you want to join our superhero team, it's free. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell to all. Thank you all so much, and let's get started. Finally can do my WW84 review. I kind of wanted to wait a bit. I watched it the first day it came out on HBO Max, and it was Christmas Day, so opening gifts and taking gifts out to play with the kids. I couldn't really focus all my attention on the movie, so I wanted to watch it that day, finish it, and kind of watch it when I had more time to immerse myself in the movie. So I wanted to watch it a second time fully throughout and then do a review. So, the first time I watched it, I was a bit disappointed. I watched it a second time, had a different reaction towards it. So, I'm shocked with this movie, how much backlash it's getting, how much so many people just absolutely hated it and are bashing it. Then you have some of the fan base that actually likes it and some people that are kind of like about it. So, that's why I want to talk about this, because I feel like this movie kind of draws some similarities to BVS in that regard, how a lot of people loved it and a lot of people hated it. So, it's one of those films that is going to be talked about a lot for a while. And, let's talk about it. I wanted to do this for a little bit, so finally get to do it. So I'll talk about things I liked about the movie. I'll talk about things that I didn't like so much and wish they did differently. And then I'll talk about news about Wonder Woman 3, and then talk about how it did as far as sales and everything, as far as numbers. So talking about stuff I liked, of course, it was the main actors. Gal Gadot played great. Chris Pine was awesome. Kristen Wiig was great. Pedro Pascal was really good in this. So those four main casts were awesome in this. They really carried the movie. Going to the main character in Gal Gadot, she played awesome as Wonder Woman, and Diana Prince, typical Wonder Woman fashion. She was great. If you're looking forward to the sword and shield, it really wasn't in this. The only thing she really used was the lasso to go to different spots, to use it as a weapon. That's the only thing she basically used. Could have used the shield a bit more because she did get hurt in this one, and I liked how they did that with this. I like how they normalized Wonder Woman in this, where she was affected because of what she wished for. In this movie with that stone that people were making wishes on, it would affect the person that made the wish. So, Wonder Woman's drawback was that she was getting hurt as she was losing her powers as the movie went on. So, if she would take a gunshot, she'd feel it. You'd see it too. You'd see her bleed. She'd take a fall. She'd get hurt from it. So that's not what we've seen from Wonder Woman in the past couple of movies that we've seen her. So it was a different take. You saw her getting run down towards the end of the movie, especially in that fight with Cheetah in the warehouse. You saw just like her leaning up against the wall, and just like her whole, just looked exhaustedly tired and just beaten down. So definitely a different take on Wonder Woman, but I like that. I like how she had a struggle with the whole, thing of having Steve Trevor come back and then having to know you have to let him go again because you need to help to save the world. So it's a different take, because when you put yourself inside that character, to have someone come back that you wish to come back and then know that you have to let them go again, it's tough. So I thought she played great in this movie as usual. Chris Pine was great in this. He was great in the first one. I like the chemistry with him and Gal Gadot, and I like how Wonder Woman, the first one, was Steve Trevor helping Diana Prince and Wonder Woman acclimate herself to our custom, where this one was Gal Gadot teaching Steve Trevor how to get used to the time now. So I like that whole shift of between the two movies. His comedy landed, his action sequences were good. I thought he played a good job. The only thing I didn't like that when he came back, kind of went into someone's body, and it was just awkward, where only Diana saw him as Steve Trevor and no one else saw it. I guess everybody else saw him as that other guy, so it was just odd. It was an odd thing. So that was a lot of backlash amongst a lot of people too. But I thought Chris Pine played a good part in this movie. Going over to Kristen Wiig, I like what she added to this movie, and it's kind of typical what you've seen in the past from her sort of character. You've seen her play that bumbling personality that is not liked, that is not paid attention to, that wants attention, that kind of wants to be loved and liked and have powers like someone else. So you kind of saw it recently with Electro and Jim Carrey's Riddler, kind of like that same mold of a villain. So I thought she played great. She's a great actress. She can handle the comedy side, the darker side. She can handle the animosity she felt towards Wonder Woman at the end. Kirsten Wiig is just a great actress, and I like the way she played her role. Only knock, I didn't like Cheetah towards the end. I'll get to that in a little bit. Pedro Pascal was great in this. I thought he was played the role phenomenally as Max Lord. Um, it was another case of a weak villain, but I liked the way he built his character up throughout the movie. I thought he played the character well, and he played well. He really did. Just the ending was just a bit like a big build up, and then just like nothing. Everything just went away. So I'll get to that in a little bit, but just talk about stuff I liked. I liked the costume designs, look cool. They kind of had a reminiscent feel to the Linda Carter show, the Linda Carter take of Wonder Woman in the shows that she did. They wanted to get the costumes as close as that as far as the everyday clothing. I thought they did good with that. It wasn't an 80s overkill for me. I was born in the 80s, so I love that era. And a lot of people said it felt too 80s, and I didn't think it felt 80s at all. I think just the beginning felt it, and that's about it. I didn't see cliche shows and music and all that going throughout the movie, so it really didn't feel like that to me. I like the whole, and I should have said spoilers before I started this video. My apologies, but I'll get into the spoilers now. So as far as the invisible jet, I thought that was a cool take on it. They said they weren't going to do it, but they kind of incorporated it in a way where Diana was able, or Wonder Woman was able to make herself and the Jet and Steve Trevor invisible to the eyes. So I thought they did a great job with that, kind of incorporating the invisible jet in a way. Wonder Woman flew in this movie, and a lot of people said she wasn't flying. She kind of just pulled herself up and coasted, but as you could see towards the end, she did fly up and then flew up. And I like the way they did kind of a reminiscent feel where you saw her kind of had the same pose that Henry Cavill had as he was flying in Man of Steel or learning to fly. That was cool. And as she was up in the air towards the end of the movie, she can hear everybody and all their wishes. So that kind of brought it back to, another power she can have. And, that was a cool take. I liked seeing her learn how to fly. That was a cool thing. I'm trying to think of anything else I liked in this. I thought the movie was okay as far as the timing. It was a long movie, 2.5 hours, but it felt okay to me. A lot of people didn't like how there wasn't a lot of action in this as compared to the first one, which I agree with. There wasn't a lot of action, but I thought going back and forth between different characters kind of broke it up and made it more easy to watch. I'll put it that way. So the timing didn't really affect me. And I watched it a second time, and I didn't have an issue with the timing then as well. So that's things I liked in this. As far as the acting, the clothing, I like how the invisible jet was there. I like the Hans Zimmer score. I love the way he composes music, and I like how at the end they used "Beautiful Lie," which was in BVS. I thought that was a great way to bring a nod back to that. Going over to what I didn't like. The movie was 2.5 hours, so the timing was a lot longer. They could have not shown some things where it could have took away from the time of the movie. There was not a lot of action in this movie. There was a lot of things that were just odd. What happens at the end of the movie, how everything is just a build up and nothing. Cheetah felt like a villain that was kind of shoehorned into this movie, where they needed Wonder Woman to fight something because she couldn't really fight Max Lord. He wasn't turning into this big evil villain, but they needed someone to fight Wonder Woman, so that's where you could kind of have Cheetah grow throughout the movie, which I thought she was okay. But towards the end, I didn't like the way she looked as Cheetah. Her face just looked odd, but a lot of people didn't like the CGI of Cheetah, where I didn't mind it. And I know they did the Hollywood trick where they used the CGI at night, where it wasn't as visible, all the flaws of it. Where I thought it seemed okay to me. The way Cheetah was jumping around and scratching and clawing, I thought it was done okay. And I just didn't like the look of her face. But that fight scene was very short, so it was kind of like a big build up to nothing. The ending sequence where what happens at the end, how it just ends, how everybody renounces their wishes. Again, big build up to nothing. So the movie in itself, and other things I didn't like was the whole running sequences, that the way they filmed it, the way she's running around through the streets and everything, where they made her look like she was running on air. I just didn't like the way that was filmed. The scene where she's running into the camera, just it looked awkward. There was a lot of action sequences that were just shouldn't have been done the way they were done. The whole mall scene in the beginning was just an action sequence to start the movie, and the acting was horrible in that by even the people who were robbing the place, and all the wire work just seemed just a bit too extra at that point. But whew, I don't want to seem like I'm bashing this movie, but I'm just trying to be honest with what I didn't like about it. Um, there was a lot of other things that kind of were a question mark. What happens at the end with Cheetah and Max Lord? They're kind of just basically set free. What happens with the wishes that everybody does? It's kind of not like everybody forgets about what happened. It just everything just vanishes. Where it kind of like, how do you forget what the events that took place that day? So the timing of how this works in with other movies is a question mark to me. Um, yeah, that's about it. I mean, I wish there was a bit more action sequences. I wish they would have drawn out that fight scene with Cheetah a bit more. I liked how they incorporated Linda Carter in this. That was another thing where they wanted to kind of add her in this, but they wanted to make it seem like it was a natural fit and not something that was just to throw in for nostalgia, especially with what's going to happen with Flashpoint. So, and she was brought in well as playing Asteria in this. They kind of, that whole beginning sequence, which a lot of people are like, why did they even incorporate this? Um, they had to build up that whole Golden Eagle thing and who was wearing it. So they talked about, Wonder Woman told Steve Trevor about it, how she mentioned Hysteria, and she was in it while they were doing that, and she was just like basically holding her armor while hundreds of men were just beating on her with like knives and trying to get into the armor. And towards the end, Cheetah just dismantled in 2 seconds. So you saw the power that Cheetah had towards the end of this, where she was able to literally destroy the Golden Eagle armor. So, there's one more thing I didn't like, and I know a lot of DC fans are going to agree with me on this. I don't like Jeff Johns. I really don't. I've heard so much of how he just destroyed a lot of movies that we loved. And BVS was one of them. Justice League was one of them. And, other movies as well. So to see his name pop up in the credits, like job title after job title after job title, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I thought he wasn't incorporated into the movies anymore. So, that really took me apart from the movie. I couldn't stand seeing his name for what he's done to the whole DCEU. You wanted to bring him in as the Kevin Feige of the DCEU, and I'm so glad he's done with it after everything that's been said. You kind of had Snyder to build this whole universe, and I wish they would have went that route to give him the mantle to do everything, which I hope they still do that. There's rumors of it not happening, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But that really took me away from the movie, seeing his name prop up so much, because I knew he had something to do with some sort of interference with this movie, because this is another movie that a lot of people didn't like. So maybe we hear something later that he had something to do with interference to change certain elements of this movie. So, that's my review in a nutshell. Wonder Woman, to me, if I were going to rate it, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10. I didn't hate it like a lot of people did. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay, a little bit better than okay. It didn't hold the mantle to the previous Wonder Woman or anything Wonder Woman was in, but I thought it was okay to watch. I was able to watch it again and enjoy it a bit more the second time than I did the first time. The first time, just waiting for this movie to come out, I think is what the disappointment was, where you're waiting for this movie to come out and it's got delayed. And then when you see it, you're kind of like, that's it? You kind of had that feeling like you were so disappointed in that whole time that you spent waiting for this movie. And then you saw the finished product. You're like, I don't know about this one. So, again, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people liked it. I'm in the middle, 6.5 for me. But talking about Wonder Woman 3, they're in development now with Patty Jenkins coming back to direct, although her name hasn't been officially pen to paper yet. And, definitely Gal Gadot is coming back as Wonder Woman. This movie did very well. And can we see Asteria in it? Can we incorporate her in the next movie as well, with Linda Carter coming back to do that movie too? So, I'm sure you hear more news as it comes out. But talking about how Wonder Woman did, it did very well, very surprisingly well. In the movies, it did 86 million, and subscriptions to HBO Max, there was 12.6 million viewers. So it did great. It did great. It was financially well received for the first weekend. I'm sure the second weekend will be a drastic difference in numbers. So we'll have to wait and see. But what did you guys and girls think about this movie? Did you hate it as much as some people did? Did you love it? Did you think it was just okay? Comment below and let me know. And as always, thank you for your time in watching this. I appreciate it. I apologize for running so long, but I wanted to talk about everything. If you haven't done so, smash that like button. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the superhero scene. Join our superhero team. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of the day. Have a great night. Take it easy. Be safe.